Welcome back to the BagFather. I'm Marlon Meer, also known as the BagFather himself.
And I'm Jen Zemba, also known as the Bag Lady. We're back for season 2, diving even deeper into the world of baggage, innovation, and the people who make air travel actually work.
Last season, we went behind the scenes with everyone from airline leaders to tech pioneers. And this time we are leveling up, talking AI, automation, passenger experience, and the future of baggage.
Plus, plenty of laughs, stories from the ramps, and occasional lost bag mystery or two.
So whether you're in aviation, tech, or just love to travel, grab your headphones, subscribe, and join us as we unpack season 2 of the BagFather.
Because in baggage, there's always more than what meets the belt. Today on the BagFather, we're diving into what seamless travel really means when you look beyond the buzzwords and into the operational reality of airports and airlines. Our guest is Stephane Thao, head of Seamless Travel Solutions for Air Ops at Amadeus. Steph sits right at the intersection of passenger experience, airport operations, and technology. From baggage flows to decision making on the day of operations, his work is shaping how journeys actually run, not just how they are sold. If you want to understand how seamless travel is built from the ground up, this conversation is for you.
Good morning to you, Steph, but you're no longer in Australia, right?
That's right. Hi, Marlon. Yes, I finally relocated to Lisbon in August last year after the acquisition of Vision Box, and I'm delighted to be able to run operations from Europe now.
And it's convenient. You also brought your wife to Portugal. That's what I understood. And she also works for Amadeus, right?
Yes, it was an easy relocation for Amadeus. I came with the family, the wife, and 3 kids. So it's a big life change, but we are delighted to be here now.
I can imagine. And Portugal is great, of course. So welcome to the BagFather. We are going to talk about seamless travel today, Jen.
Your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite. When you walk into an airport, you have all the facial recognition. You can walk straight up until you need to drop off your bag. And then it becomes complicated. What does seamless mean to you, Steph?
I think it's exactly what you've mentioned. Seamless is about removing all the friction for the passenger at all touch points. You mentioned biometrics. I think in today's airport it will play a role. I say will because I don't think we are still there. Some airports are more advanced than others, but it will play a big role into having that seamless experience for the travelers. But more importantly, it doesn't start at the airport. I think in order to make the journey seamless for the passenger from start to end, it actually starts from home. And I think we'll touch on that with the baggage. And it encompasses all the different steps. So home, as you get to the airport, immigration, which is still an area that is not as seamless, especially nowadays, then boarding, airside, and the arrival. So seamless is really about removing that friction and making it an experience that is very homogeneous and enjoyable for the passenger.
It sounds ambitious because I hear the word seamless for quite a while now. And the journeys that I take on the airports that I use are not that pleasant. Don't you think, Jen?
I completely agree, and you mentioned this starting at home, so I can think of a couple of solutions for that, but I'm interested in what Amadeus is pushing forward in that regard.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jen and Steph, the operations are so fragmented on an airport. So the passenger experience is not always that seamless. And there are a lot of hurdles to be taken. Set aside baggage. It's not even only baggage, but the whole ecosystem is not designed for seamless. So how do you swim against the normal stream? How do you do that?
You're spot on with that question. The challenge of bringing seamless to airport operations is the fragmentation. We have some airports, some greenfield airports, where we can bring our solutions from start to end, trying to make it as seamless as possible. I can think of Western Sydney, who's going to go live soon. So that's the easy case, because then we can bring biometrics up front, we can bring all the different touch points in a homogeneous way. But the challenge is really when you have to deal with the current ecosystem and how you put everything together to make it as seamless as possible. So in some certain cases, it's easy, in other it's more challenging. I think what's key nowadays is that digitalization is going to is playing actually a big step in this. Okay, we can have digital IDs, we can have digital boarding passes, digital e-tickets. So all this is something that is happening today. Baggage remains the one that is the physical asset, and that we cannot yet digitalize. Maybe in the future, but that's the key part of how to. If you really want to have an end-to-end seamless journey, you have to make sure that baggage is considered from the beginning.
I understand what you're saying with a physical asset, but it requires a lot of more physical assets or obstacles to make the journey less seamless. So talk me through the challenges that you have. You were talking about sometimes it's challenging. Talk me through it. What are the challenges?
So around baggage clearly is the heterogeneity of the solution and the ecosystem out there. Okay, if you have different kind of bag tags, different kind of printers, different kinds of baggage handling systems, all these kind of things, all this makes the whole baggage journey not transparent at all. There's no visibility, and that's what passengers are craving. I think if you can solve the transparency part of the baggage journey, it will already start to give confidence in the passenger that things can go smoothly, or at least that if they don't, they know that the recovery is handled in the right way.
Yeah, so you're explaining a lot of great things without a name to it. So I'm curious, are we talking about home printed bag tags? Are we talking electronic bag tags? What exactly is the solution, and how reliant is that on infrastructure being in the right place?
So today, look, the vast majority of the bag process is still around paper bag tags. As I said before, I personally think that digitalization is what's going to make journey seamless, and the digitalization in the bag area is around the bag tag, the electronic bag tag, or baggage biometrics, for instance. So this the two areas where we hope to concentrate. We are actively working already with bagtag.com through a partnership to see how we can foster the adoption of electronic bag tags. And we are investing also in baggage biometrics to see what kind of faster recovery and traceability we can have in this space.
So now you trigger me, and Jen knows that. You're investing in baggage biometrics. Talk me through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, we have the chance to be one of the leaders in the backdrop space. So we have a lot of knowledge around baggage conveyability, baggage processing, interface with the BHS. What we are seeing is that when baggage are mishandled, today we still rely on a description, or everybody's lost to get a bag, and what happens then is that you go to a desk and you're asked to describe your bag, and it has to fit into a case, and then somebody will be looking for these attributes. Ideally, with baggage biometrics, we can be faster, we can integrate this in multi-points throughout the airport. The first one being either the backdrop, or you could even imagine in the long run to have passengers with their mobile phone taking that picture. But we hope that you can fast track the identification of baggage through that. It won't work like humans because humans have unique faces and you can have multiple bags, but in certain cases, and if you have the right metadata, I think there's something there that we can do to ease the process of managing mishandling of bags.
And are you investing that yourself, or are you buying partners? How do you do that?
So far, it's effort both. It's mostly internally. So internally, we have our computer vision teams looking at this, especially with the surge of AI. It means that now the capabilities are increasing. So internally, we're actually looking at whether it's possible to have a good level of baggage recognition through these biometrics, or at least to extract automatically all those attributes. Okay, so that you have as you inject your bag in the system, it's already flagged with or tagged with all the attributes related to it. Is it a roller bag? Is it what color? All these kind of things.
This is close at heart, Jen. Sorry for me asking a little bit further than that, huh?
Yeah, you should deep dive, Marlon.
Hey, I won't. This is a sensitive topic for me. But I get it, and especially it all starts basically with the DCS. When people start with the travel and they drop off their bag, that's the starting point. And Amadeus is actually in a pretty good position to get started there. And I'm also curious because there is also a lot to do when it comes to, for example, baggage screening. Baggage screening makes life a little bit more easy as well. If you can, like the objects you just saw, making an inventory of the objects, you have the screening. AI can do a lot with that. So it's interesting, and Amadeus is an innovation powerhouse. I know that, and I'm very curious on in what direction you will go, because I see a lot of opportunity in this field. And we should talk offline about it one day.
In London, maybe for PT, I'll be delighted to make it there.
I have to wait. I have to wait a little bit due to competition clauses, but I have to wait a little bit. No, very interesting, and I really it makes me a little bit proud, of course, that this is the direction that Amadeus is going in. I've spoken in the past to Amadeus about this specific topic, and it becomes a reality, and I really like that. But we are not yet there. Today's reality, it starts with printing a bag tag. Yeah, baggage historically also is treated as a back-end function. It's the last thing airlines and airports are concerned about. I always try to explain when I talk about Schiphol Airport that it's basically a big building, but it's not that building, it's a baggage system with a building around it, with walls. And I don't get it, that airlines and airports still treat baggage like the last thing they care about. How do you look at it?
That's an excellent question. As I said, it's the last physical asset that has to be managed through that journey. So it's true that for some airlines and some airports, it's still seen as the last challenge. But we've seen a shift. We see that more and more with the digitalization that airports are focusing on having a lot of the process done off airport. And what remains really when you arrive in the terminal is if you have to print your bag tag, then drop your bag, and that's it. And the rest of the journey can carry on airside where the business is actually conducted. So we see more and more airports investing when they refurbish terminals in that infrastructure. So we've seen the trend of having less and less check-in desks, etc. But even in the trend of putting automated bag drops and kiosk or any kind of device that can print a bag tag there, there's also a shift, and more, I'm a big supporter of the e-bag tags. I'm hoping that I think it will remove already a large part of the process that's done at the airport and remove paper for that matter. But the trend is there. For me, I see that more and more is going to be done digitally off airport, and what will remain is a touch point somewhere at the airport to drop the bag, and that's it. And then off you go. Some countries are more advanced than others. There are already services like in Japan where you can even drop your bag from home. I don't know if that's going to be publicly available elsewhere. I think there's a cultural part as well of having your bag with you as long as possible, but that at least you remove all the pain of having to do something with your bag other than dropping it at the airport. That will be already a good way forward.
This is an interesting perspective, actually, because Jen and I recently were at Orlando Airport, where I received a little award, which was really nice. But we had a tour through their early bag storage. And I know Orlando has some interesting dynamics because they have the theme parks, of course, they have the cruise ships that come in. But remember, Jen, that was a gigantic early bag storage, right?
It was huge, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And another
huge.
one going
So,
in, yeah.
and the problem is, people need to go to the airport to drop off their bag, most of the time 2 or 3 hours in advance. Hey, listen, that doesn't sound very seamless to me. And that's one of the big problems that we are seeing. We are building big facilities to store the bag for a couple of hours. Yeah. But then the whole seamless journey, we are just letting them going through customs, and they are airside, and they stay there like they're in a shopping mall. They are trapped in a shopping mall, and then the golden hour starts. And it's interesting because if I look at that, I would have looked at it completely different. I would make it really seamless and have this just-in-time arrival. But that isn't happening. We are building this kind of facilities. And by the way, Orlando is doing an amazing job. But all the early bag storages around the world shouldn't be necessary if we do our work better.
I think you highlight some kind of conflict of interest here because
I know that.
the interest of the airport is not necessarily that you get there at the last minute. Okay, having people stuck airside is usually a good way of them spending money in duty free.
Okay, okay. Dus Jen, you love shopping. I know that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm quite the
But
shopper.
we want that 2 hours extra of parking fees, and we want to make sure they go to the duty free. That's what we want to do. But let's be transparent about that, because that's a big hurdle for true seamless journey. But for sake of the conversation, let's focus on, okay, people are 2 hours early, and how do we bring them as seamless as possible to the gate and vice versa, or to the seat in the plane, actually, and vice versa. So I would like to understand if it becomes more predictable, yeah, the whole airport flows better. Don't you think?
Definitely, in terms of for me, predictability goes also with what I mentioned: visibility, transparency of the whole baggage journey. I believe that in today's ecosystem, the fact that you have to still go to the airport, print your tag, put it on either somebody puts it on if you go to the check-in desk, but if you put it on the bag drop, you have to then drop the bag, etc. There's already a few steps that we could really save, and when it comes to visibility, transparency, predictability, what comes to mind is digitalization again. If it was a digital tag, then you have all that from inception. It's easier to track digital assets than physical assets, actually.
And all of this is so interesting to me, and I feel like all of the solutions that have been brought forward for baggage in the last 10, 15 years, we're still repeating the same process. So we're trying to find solutions in a silo that really affect only how the baggage is moving and doesn't benefit operations at all. Do you feel either of these solutions, when we're talking either baggage biometrics or electronic bag tag, does that offer some operational benefits to be able to utilize baggage information better for operations of plane turn times and things like that?
That's for sure. The moment, imagine a world where you had only digital back tags, then you know exactly at all stages where the tags here. They can be independent, IoT based, and tell you what states they are in, etc. Exact location, easier to track, easier to manage. I'm a big advocate of e-back tags, and I hope we get there at some stage. The main challenge is how, in order to get there, you need to manage that transition phase, because in order to get to full digital, you have to manage a phase where your digital assets are still managed in the legacy non-digital ecosystem. And that means that the tags today still need to be not just a chip, RFID chip or NFC chip, but still be readable by current baggage handling systems and all these kind of things. So that's why we're working a lot with BagTag. I'm hoping to push forward what we're working together sooner than later, because I really believe that if we can increase the adoption of e-bag tags, it's where it will take us where we really want to be.
I must say that I echo your words. BagTag, it was a long journey for them. I've seen them growing, but they're getting to a point that it's this is one of the main aspects of the solution. And the problem is that all the digital tools that passengers have and that they expect, we didn't figure it out yet for baggage. And that's the problem. We actually think it will be a combination of things, for sure, the BagTag. But it all started with restoring confidence again. And the other aspect is that there are different kind of travelers. One that are very tech savvy, willing to invest in it, and they shouldn't be that tech savvy because the digital should be so easy and seamless that it's part of the experience. And the other aspect is that they do not trust the airlines. They do not trust the airports. And they are all looking for alternative routes to make sure that they get their bag back and do it as easy as possible. From the weighing part to the tagging part to the bag fees that are being charged and a lousy service being delivered. The whole system is broken, if you wish. And the problem is we need to restore that altogether. And I hear that the digital aspect is extremely important. And now we are dealing with new generations. And for me, how do you think that control and transparency will matter for the passengers? And how will that be restored actually? Until what moment do we get to a point, okay, here United, here Southwest, here's my bag again? Or KLM in my case, Jen.
Look, I might not be as pessimistic as you with the perception of travelers with their bags.
I'm not pessimistic at all.
But look, you're spot on in terms of restoring the confidence and the trust. And you highlight the fact that, yes, whenever you fly with different airlines, then that's where you lose all visibility and traceability usually. Some airlines are very good in tracking bag and giving the passengers information on their own network, but it's becomes very hard and challenging when it's becomes part of the ecosystem with a connection, etc.
We are asking the difficult question, Jen.
No,
sure. Yeah.
it's a question I love on top of that. No, so we are on the traceability. So in order to provide the right level of trust and confidence back to the traveler, what's important is that the solution that will become hopefully the new standard in terms of providing this traceability and visibility is interoperable. Okay, all the solutions that have been put in place as of today, they are, I don't want to say proprietary, but at least they are very close in their own ecosystem, and that's where it breaks, because the moment people had invested at some stage in RFID tags. Okay, great idea, fantastic.
Great topic. Let's talk about that.
But the moment you report not equipped with RFID readers, you lose all the benefit of it. So, and that's why it's so important that the next or the transition phase to the digital tags is with something that can be easily readable and processed through the current ecosystem. And e-paper tags, I think that's probably where we want to see this blossoming.
So
Yeah.
the electronic bag tag is better for reroute situations and can obviously receive updates quickly when passenger travel plans change. Does that provide additional information to the passengers in their apps when they're tracking bags, or is it still scanning at all the same places?
So the scanning part is still occurring in the same places, and the fact that it's digital then can easily provide you information to whoever needs it. For me, the important part is how you get that bag updated, that tag, updated with the right information. Okay, what has changed and what is probably going to be the breakthrough for what we want to try to achieve is the air tag. You know what? Because people started to put AirTag in their bags just to start to get some information. And what it brought is that the airline are going to have a hard time now asking passengers not to have a device with a battery. And it will allow e-bag tag provider, manufacturer, to now build e-bag tags with a battery. And for us, it's super important because if one of these tags has a battery, it means that you can interact with it without having some sort of NFC energy source, like a mobile phone, very close to it. And that's key because my view is that up until now, the adoption of electronic tags have been really hampered by the way those tags had to be programmed. You had to add a proprietary application, you have to have the application on your mobile phone and do the tagging yourself. Now if those tags start to have batteries, it means that any touch point you are getting close to could actually flash the tag and update it with the right license plate. So that's, for me, it's really, really important what's going to happen in the next months here, because if we have this, it means that you can imagine having your permanent tag on your bag, you get to the airport, you put it next to a device, a backdrop or a dedicated device, and it's automatically flashed without any other sort of intervention. And then it starts to be almost as seamless as we would want it to be.
And then the question is, and what you're saying, I hear you, it's probably not longer the technology, it's the adoption and the mindset of the industry. Is the industry actually ready for digitalization of baggage? Or, and I'm famous for this quote, are there some parties not willing to change and innovate because it's a huge cash cow?
I think the industry, like any other industry, is more than ready as long as it doesn't require a huge investment on their part. And
Yeah.
if you can find a digital solution that also works with what they have today and without requiring them to invest in RFID portals or whatever, then I think it's there. On the passenger side, no worries, more and more people are digitally savvy, especially if you then remove the need from them to have a dedicated app, because even the digitally savvy, I hope to think that I'm one of them. I hate having dedicated apps. I wish I have one app for all, you know. But you need to have one app for each airline, and now if you need to have one app for each bag tags or each etc., it's not going to work. But if we can make it simple from a user perspective and still working in the current baggage ecosystem, then there's no reason why this wouldn't take away very fast.
And I wonder, so we're talking about this, and as we've mentioned, processes remain the same as they have been since the late 80s when automated systems were brought into place. Do you feel something like the baggage biometrics or the electronic bag tag, is that a stopgap or is that a long-term solution? does there come the day when everything changes for baggage flow?
It's a very good question. I think I I don't I don't have a crystal ball, but there's a lot of transformation in industry. You know, we are moving to an order of transformation. What it will probably means that the check-in process altogether is gone. The boarding pass possibly is gone. But that being said, again, the bag is the one remaining physical asset that needs to be managed. So I'd like to say that the both baggage biometrics and e-tags will be a transition, but it's going to be probably going to be a very long transition. So if we can have that already in place, it will probably open doors after. But I'm sure it will contribute to having a much more seamless experience, and that could be in the next months or in the coming months or years actually. Because
Yeah, and I agree. I think something like electronic bag tags leaves it wide open. I think it can easily be a solution fitted to new processes when that day comes.
It's actually interesting, Steph, because I want to pick your brain a little bit. Let's take the listeners to 5 to 10 years from now. And how does the travel world look like? How does their journey look like? When it comes to baggage, but you can speak in general.
At the heart of what we're doing here at Seamless Travel in Amadeus. So we always have these 5, 10, and 15 years lookout in mind. And in 5 years' time, I would hope that digitalization has taken off. No more passports, no more visas, all digital on your mobile phone. There's a lot to do with regulation about biometrics, of course. Some areas in the world are more open to it than others, but I'm fairly confident that this also will be a challenge that will go away. I imagine that in that case, that the seamless journey of a passenger would be that everything is done at home in very little interaction. You have your booking, you have a pop-up telling you your flight is tomorrow or in a couple of days. You're still okay to travel. Do you want to check in? One button push. Your ID stored in your phone, so it's just acknowledging that it will be used for that trip, and that's it. You arrive at the airport, you're biometrically recognized, you go to the bag drop, you drop your bag with your e-bag tag, and it's updated with your journey. You go to pre-security, you're biometrically recognized. You go through immigration if it's an international journey, and same way. And in less than a few minutes, you're airside and you can enjoy your cappuccino or do the shopping that you are meant to do.
And that brings me back to the shopping and the parking part, because we need you 3 hours in advance, Jen.
Yeah.
Eh?
You have to make money somewhere.
$200.
Yeah.
$200 easily. Huh?
Easy.
No, I get it. And Steph, it's good to have that ambition and vision. You're representing a company that has a big footprint in the market. So it all starts with you guys, literally, because it starts with the DCS. And I think you're highlighting on a future that many of us envision, but it needs to get started, because today we still are suffering with disruptions, and it should be all about prevention instead of recovery, in my opinion. And today, we see the problems, we address them one problem at a time, but sometimes, it needs to be going all in. And I see that a couple of airports do they do their own thing and make sure that they are the best in their category, but they forgot the other airport where the passenger is flying to. So this is a role for Amadeus, if I say, to take that whole ecosystem route by route and do better, because then only, it's my opinion, it's the opinion of the BagFather, baggage becomes seamless. And we need to do it all. We need to get rid of those paper tags. We need to get rid of the stupidity of all the backdrop systems and the vice versa, the carousels, and we need to get rid of that. And it all starts with a digital mindset on this one. So thank you for giving us that insight. I'm not done with you yet, because I have a lot of other questions which we might be able to get in this podcast as well. But we can talk for hours now, Jen. This is a topic that we are talking about a lot also outside the studio.
Yeah, and this leads into so many different things. I'm thinking about the sustainability aspect of digital tag. I'm thinking about how we transfer to advanced air mobility when those days really do come, and how seamless this could be from passing from the standard planes of today to air taxis and being able to easily account for baggage in that process.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's address the elephant in the room, Steph, because I think Amadeus wants. Amadeus wants to do this. This is the future of Amadeus. If you guys don't do it, others will. But yeah, I think the problem also is with the airlines. You need to have progressive airlines to make things better and do things better. And feel free to speak openly. I think don't hide your feelings and your warmth and your for your clients, but tell what your clients need to do tomorrow to do it better. Because that's where it starts, and that's how we get the passenger. The airline is responsible for the passenger, but some of them are just not. They're all reactive. We need them to think differently. How are you going to help them with that, Steph?
So yes, they are reactive, but I can't say that I've been talking to any airline recently where it was not a topic of interest. Going towards more digitalization and service for their passenger, they know that the bag is still one of the major pain points that they need to address. And why they do
I don't, Steph, I don't believe you. They only see one thing. Yeah, it's the bag fee. $50 per bag, easy money. That's how they look at it right now.
So there's the money part, yes, there's the processing pain part as well. And I don't know if as a passenger, I would associate the pain and the cost. I think passengers are happy to pay if they know upfront that they need to pay. I don't think anyone is comfortable with having to pay extra baggage fee as a surprise. But when you pay, you want the service to be delivered, and that means that the bag arrives at the same time as you, or before if you can, and is not delayed, mishandled, etc. There's been a lot of progress. It depends still on regions, but while EMEA is still very bad, I think it's about 12 bags out of 1,000 which are mishandled or something like this. I think it's 4 times less in APAC already, also because they're more adopters of self-service. But to go back to your airline point, I think all airlines are keen to see or to look at what can improve the bag process for their customer, but they also prisoner of where they operate. It's a conjunction of airline and airport that needs to solve this problem. The airline by themselves are only one piece of the puzzle, and what we need is to have both together talking, and that's where standards and ISO discussions come. But the way I see standards coming for biometric data exchange, I'm fairly confident that we could have the same for baggage in the long run.
Thank you very much. And I would like to ask for what kind of advice are you giving to those airlines that want to embrace digital baggage adoption? What kind of advice do you have for them?
I'd say, please look, do proof of concept, look at what digital bag tags can bring to you, because not only there's the ecological effect, you're getting rid of bag tag papers, etc., but it brings the traceability and the visibility that the passenger needs. So do POCs, invest in maybe in frequent flyer programs, or start with crews, but see the benefit of having those electronic bag tags in place can bring. And if on top of that you are operating in an airport where the hardware will allow to have the seamless experience, then even better.
I've got a lot of great information to go off of there. Did you want to talk anything about sustainability and what this is doing to eliminate all of the extra bag tags that could cover the world easily in what we consume almost daily.
That's for me. That's a big part of also why I'm a strong advocate for this, because in order to service their passenger correctly, today airports are extremely vigilant as to how the touch points are always available. Okay, so you have kiosks with backtag printers and holes inside of them who are used throughout the day. And the worst can happen for an airport or an airline for that matter is that the touch point becomes out of paper. Okay, so there are several solutions for that. Some manufacturers are putting 2 rolls of papers in one touch point so that when one is low, you can print to the others. But what happens a lot is that in order to make sure they don't go out of service or not out of paper, those rolls are replaced before they finished. It's a huge waste of paper in my view. It's when you think about the life length of those paper tags, it's just mind-blowing that we're still using that much paper just for that.
Well, and you bring up something else that is important to me. My whole life previous to what I do now was spent working for a label manufacturer, and I know firsthand those printers, they never get cleaned. They never have rollers replaced or print heads replaced. So the quality of the barcode and the tag itself in the long term is really not great. It is consuming a lot of time, and then those printers break down during check-in processes, which is another frustration point for passengers when they can't just simply drop a bag and walk away and do what they want to do. So I love that electronic bag tags could take away that whole pain point as well.
Yeah. Steph, I need to thank you for today's conversations. I could go on and on and on. And seamless and paperless probably go hand in hand. So it has a brilliant insight on what seamless travel looks like when it moves from vision to real-world operations. From baggage and air ops to data-driven decision-making across the whole airport ecosystem, you have shown us that seamless journeys are not about one moment or one piece of technology. They are about how everything connects behind the scenes to keep passengers moving with confidence. Thank you for sharing your perspective, Steph, and for helping us unpack what it truly takes to make seamless travel. And to everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the BagFather for more conversations with the people shaping the future of baggage, operations, and the passenger journey. Steph, I'm looking forward to our next conversation, probably in 2-3 years' time. So hold the diary, and I want to go truly seamless. Thank you for today.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you. Can't wait. Bye, guys.
That's it for this episode of the BagFather. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on another baggage adventure.
And if you like what you've heard, don't forget to follow us, to subscribe, and leave us a review. It really helps more baggage lovers to find our show.
And if you've got a story, innovation, or opinion from the world of baggage, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach us on LinkedIn or at BagFather.com.
And a big thanks to our guests of today and to everyone helping us make baggage smarter, faster, and more connected.
Until next time, safe travels, smooth transfers, and no lost luggage.